Okay, first thing to do, go grab some gloves. 2 gloves. These are awesome gloves. They're made by Grip-X. They're 8 mil. They're actually pretty strong. Easy to put on. They fit perfect. I like them. They got grip everywhere. And I like how long they are. Inspected by just holding a light up to the side of this. That's why they make them plastic. Just hold a light up to it and you should see the marks on the side, and it'll show you what the level of the brake fluid is by just shining the light. These are 19 millimeters. Open them up. I got these little things. These are cool. Take the piece and you put it right up the middle and you have a 19 millimeter. You flip it over, plug it in, you have a 21 millimeter. And I have 3/4 and 13/16. That's the most common sizes for lug nuts. But on my truck I got a 22, so it doesn't fit. But certain vehicles will do it, certain vehicles won't. So pull these out. That off to the side, that off to the side. Wheel comes off. All right, 14 millimeter. Bottom. $14 millimeter comes off. All right, you wiggle this a little bit. It'll stretch it a little bit. And then we're gonna pull this off. Yeah, I know. So this is the one I have now. I'm gonna get a better one. I'm not too fond of this one, but it does work. It's just a bar. It pushes the bottom in. And then you push the cylinder in. It's all the way in. Pull it out and put that right there for now. We're going to check out all this stuff, make sure everything's good. And next, we are going to remove this bracket. Check it out. There's the bracket right there. And we're going to check to make sure everything's good on this. And make sure everything's good on this. Wipe it off. Everything looks good on that. We will change out these. And now we're going to check the the caliper pins. This one's a little stiff. So pull out these calipers, pull out the little rubber, and you pull out these calipers and you look at it. This one still has the little pin. You clean it off. Sure everything's cleaned. Pin looks good. The boot looks good. There's no rips in the boots. So you're good with the boots. Now, take some brake fluid, brake high temperature grease. I'm going to put a little bit on this rubber right there. This is just ultra disc brake caliper lube. It works. So you put a little bit on there, smudge it around. I'm going to put a little bit up here. And that's good. And now I'm going to put it back in there. And I'm going to work it around. Once it's in there, and then you wiggle it. And you just wiggle it until it gets in there. Because right now, you got to get that air out of there. So you wiggle it back and forth until you get the air out of there. And then the rubber will fall on there like that. Make sure the rubber looks good. And then you should be able to push it. See this little air? You got to burp it. And now this one I got no air in. So I'm going to take the rubber off here. And it's nice to get the rubber lubricated too on the outside. Okay, so all you do with a pick is you put your pick straight into the metal. Make sure you're not in the rubber. And then you scoop it around until you get it off of there. Once you get it off of there, then you just twist it and it should come right out after that. This one needs some lubricant. Yeah, I make sure I put enough lubricant on here. Not too bad, but I do put a little bit. And just to show you guys the burping procedure is you get the down layer like that and you put your little thing in there and you just release the air. Now there's no air in it. It's good to go. You want it as far back as you can get it. You want, when you put the thing on it, it's going to pull it, but you want it to suck itself back in. So I keep a little bit of oil. I put the oil on my gloves and I make sure that gets nice and oiled. Doesn't make a difference if it's new oil or old oil. See, this stuff is dirty. This is the front. Okay, and then I take some of this and I put it on there and I smudge it. You don't need a lot, just enough to coat. Put a little bit on the tip, put a little bit closer to the thing, and then I take some of this. All right, I take some of this and I put it at the beginning of the line, so there's a little bit there. So then that helps it slide on better. This one doesn't have the rubber on it. The little, this one goes in to the top and you push it in and you wiggle it back and forth. You want to get as much air out of it as you can. Now I got air in it. So you push it all the way down and you reach under the little lip there, push it all the way down, and then the air gets burped out of it. And that's how you want to reinstall it. You want it to look like that. This one's a little deformed. Let me check. See if there's air in it. See that has no air in it now. All you need to burp it. Push it shut as far as it'll go, and that's where you want it. And change these out. I put a little lubricant, a little, on each one of these, just so it slides together. Yeah, in most places, they don't want you to do that because the dust and stuff from the brake calipers get there and it gets really bad. All right. All right. Okay, now, 14s. I mean, not the 14s, but the bigger ones. They go in the back. The 19s, I mean. They go in the back. They screw in. You want to get them screwed in. So all they do is you snug them up, and then we'll torque them to spec later. All right, so this one's I put this one on the back side, on the lower side, so it makes the wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. So you take this one, and that's a little squelcher, little piece of metal. You can hear when your brake pad gets too low. You always put that on the inside, unless it's on the inside and the outside. You just always put it on the inside. Then you take this, you untangle your line, and you put it in there. Make sure your brake pads are tight in there. And then you take your 14s and you start sliding it in there. And if you're just doing brake pads, you're not cleaning this up, you can just lift it like this. And then that way you can do your brake pads and everything. And then after you're done, you can just bring that down, swoop it down like that. And it's actually pretty easy. You don't have to do so much timing with it. All right. Okay. Later on, we will come back and torque them to spec. Don't know the spec right offhand, but we're going to do it then. But that's it. That's how you do a brake job. Okay, that's basically what's going to happen. We're going to have to do the same thing for the other 3 tires. And we're just doing it for the other 2 tires. This side was a lot easier to show you. Put it on. Just make sure you screw these on by hand first, because you don't want to cross thread these. And then you got more work to do. Snug, not tight. You're gonna torque these once you get it down on the ground. So all my torquing will happen at the end of the day. Alright, once you get in the car, you need to turn the car on and you need to pump the brakes a few times. And that will stiffen up the brake pedal and that will make you ready to go.